So you said, 15 years.
Yeah.
You've been in the gambling game.
Yeah, bro.
So like, what's the early days of your gambling? How did you like start?
So
Obviously,
the story I always tell is that I've been gambling since 2 years old.
Yeah.
And like I kind of say that
bit tongue in cheek.
yeah, a little bit tongue in cheek, but it's also it's also true. And I'll tell you why. But that's the story I always say, because no one can beat me then, innit? Like I've been gambling for longer than anyone on the planet, because no one's been gambling since 2 years old. Maybe there's a few guys like me, but basically what I mean by that is
That nuance to it.
yeah, because obviously my granddad owned greyhounds, right?
Yeah.
My granddad was interesting guy, and yeah, he a lot of stories about my granddad, but yeah, he done a lot of stuff in London back in the 60s and 70s and that. But basically, he owned greyhounds, and I grew up in his house at times, and he had like 7 or 8 dogs in the house going crazy. And greyhounds are a breed of dog that run around a dog track in a sport called greyhound racing, right? And so that sport is heavily linked to gambling, because literally opposite the dogs, when you go to the dog track and you see the dogs racing, everyone's watching the dog races. Opposite the dogs are bookmakers that stand on the terraces or on the steps, and they take bets. They take physical bets with cash, and they call out. And when the odds change, they move the odds specifically. Like if people are watching this now, they will 9 times out of 10, like almost 100% of these people will bet online, right? So if you bet online, you know that if a certain amount of money goes down on one fighter or one sports team or one dog, the odds will change online. So you'll see the numbers of the screen change. So maybe there was a plus 100 underdog. Now money comes in on them. Now they're a minus 110 favorite, right? So we have bookies, real life bookies that do that in real time based on the amount of money they have, right? So at the dog tracks, we have maybe 5 or 6 bookies that are licensed to be there. There's just 2 people, one person taking the money and one person writing the odds down. We've got a mathematician writing the odds. So they'll take £500 on one dog, and they'll be like, all right, we took £500 on this dog. Now we make him the favorite. So they scribble out 6-4 and they write 4-5. So the odds change, but physically. And you have hundreds of people looking at all of these bookies, change the odds. And I did this for many years growing up. I'll be standing, I'll be looking at the bookmakers, I'll be seeing where I can get the best price. I'll be waiting right to the end, because the lines move all the time. People are scribbling out the price, changing it all the time. And I'll be looking, all right, that's the best price. Let's go and get that price, right? So bookmaking and gambling is heavily, heavily linked to dog racing. Without dog racing, there is no gambling in dog racing. Without gambling, there is no dog racing, because gambling is basically based on dog racing is based on gambling.
I remember you told me that recently. That was like a light bulb moment for me.
Yeah.
You said, the only reason dog racing and horse racing exist is to gamble.
Yeah, for the most part.
And I was like, oh shit, yeah. Because
it funds the industry.
Yeah, no one ever thinks, you know what, I enjoy dog racing.
No.
Because you can't do it.
No.
It's dogs. Literally, you can't.
Yeah, that's a big reason why.
Every other sport, you can do.
You can participate, yeah.
Yeah, football, basketball, hockey.
Because they're human sports.
Yeah, but dog racing, you can't.
No.
You can literally only watch it. So I remember that was like a light bulb moment for me.
It's like cockfighting they have in some places in the world. They gamble on it.
Yeah.
In China, they do that, I think, big.
Yeah, a lot of Asia.
Yeah,
cockfighting's big, I think.
They don't do it to watch it. They do it to bet on it.
Yeah.
It's because it's an animal, like you said. But yeah, long story short, like the reason, I went off a tangent there, but the reason I bet at 2 years old was because I used to go to these dog races because my granddad used to bring me. I'm 2 years old. And I don't really remember this, but my granddad and my nan have told me this many years as I've grown up, right, over the last 15 years. They've told me, yeah, we used to put bets on for you when you was 1-2 years old, because they know I do it for a living now. And they're like, you was betting from 1-2 years old. And I said, Nan, granddad, what are you talking about, 1 or 2 years old? They're like, well, do you remember the programs you used to get at dog racing? I was like, yeah, of course. And what a program is a booklet that tells you what dogs are racing that night, and it tells you information about that dog to help you bet.
Yeah, like you get at football.
Yeah.
You get programs and stuff.
Yeah.
Or even plays. You go to some plays and that, they give you that.
Yeah, but this one's like a stats sheet.
Okay.
So it's like a sheet for stats on the dogs to help you gamble on dogs.
Yeah,
Just tells you how old they are, what breeding they come from, who their owner is, who their trainer is, what trap they're drawn in, the results of their last 5 races, all of this stuff, right? It's basically like if you're researching a football team, you look at their statistics. It's exactly the same thing. You research a dog, you look at their statistics, and you get a program as soon as you go in the dog track every single night, right? So I used to get the program, as I'm told, and I used to like scribble on the program. And whoever I scribbled next to, like what dog I scribbled next to, my nan and granddad will put a bet on for me. Like £1, £2, let me hold the ticket. And I used to cheer the dog home.
Yeah.
So I've been betting from 2 years old, man, early days. And obviously I grew up betting on horses. I grew up betting on dogs. That was my first foray into gambling for the most part.